Well, diversity seems to be a hot button issue in video games right now. And I know it's always been kind of a thing. People have always pushed for more diversity and all that. But, ever since Gamergate, ever since the last 5 or 6 years where the whole DEI push has really kicked off, it's become a very hot button issue. And unfortunately, you have a lot of these consulting agencies, these firms, these companies that are trying to cram an agenda into the game developers' games themselves, where they're taking a perfectly fine game and injecting this messaging that has no place in it. So now we have a few articles from Kotaku today, one of them talking about how Hades 2 is finally addressing the first game's lack of body diversity. Now look, I played Hades for probably about a month, maybe a few weeks. I was close to beating it. I got up to the very final boss fight. I died. I just didn't feel like going all the way back, but it was a good game. I thought it was a really interesting idea. The game was cool. The art style was cool. But now apparently they have Hephaestus here, the god of the forge, who looks like he is overweight and in a wheelchair. Now, the funny thing is, places like Kotaku, you'll see this kind of discussion online because of the fact that in Hades, the main character could swing either way, depending on which characters you chose to pursue as far as your love interests. These people are straight up horny for these characters in this fictional game, okay? And it's the weirdest thing to see online. If you spend more than 5 minutes on Twitter, you're going to see people talking about the whole thing with the Custodes in Warhammer being retconned, where they're talking about their 9-foot-tall muscle mommies and the crap like that. But then they're going to call you a pervert if you think a hot woman that's conventionally attractive is attractive. It's the strangest hypocrisy you'll ever see. So now we're seeing them come for Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Now this is the craziest thing. I played Kingdom Come Deliverance for about 2 hours, and I got kind of bored with it. I wasn't figuring it out, and so I just uninstalled the game. I should probably go back and play it, because the game, honestly, people seem to love it. I love medieval games. I like RPGs. I should definitely go back and give it another shot. But now we're seeing articles come out today, because apparently one of the people at the studio, Daniel Vavra, I believe he might be the guy in charge, made some statements that unfortunately gave them a few breadcrumbs to work with, and now the minute that it doesn't work out the way that these outlets like Kotaku and IGN want it to, they're going to try to crucify this game. This game is going to try to be attacked. Just wait and see. So, Grum says, Kingdom Come made a name for itself by standing up to cancel pigs who complained about how a historically accurate medieval game wasn't diverse enough. And if you're not aware what he's talking about, the game is set in Bohemia, which is Czech Republic in Europe, so I guess slightly Eastern Europe, if you want to think about it like that, between Asia and Europe. So we didn't have a whole lot of diversity, especially in the 1500s. These people did not commingle with outsiders typically. There was some trade with other countries, but very homogenous communities of people. So the game was criticized heavily for the fact that there was no diversity in the game. And so you can see this guy right here, Daniel Vavra, who I believe is the guy in charge of the studio for Kingdom Come, and now the second game is coming out here sometime soon. So you have these articles coming out because he did an interview with IGN claiming that there would be a wide range of ethnicities that you would encounter this time. So we're going to go through the IGN article real quick, real briefly, touch on what he said, and see how Kotaku decided to interpret that. So the article here from IGN, some basic questions about the game, about the storyline, and all good answers. It seems like, honestly, they've put a lot of work into this game, like they're going to be progressing the story from the first one, which I know a lot of people really enjoyed. But then they get down to the question of diversity, and it is so funny because it's a non-issue. It should really be a non-issue. There's nothing to cry about, but these people will make a mountain out of a molehill in this situation. So the article from IGN, this is the person from IGN emailing back and forth with a representative from the company making Kingdom Come Deliverance. It says, Kingdom Come Deliverance's philosophy on historical accuracy was debated quite a bit at release, particularly in regards to its lack of people of color. Has Warhorse's approach or philosophy changed at all with Kingdom Come 2? What new historical data will Kingdom Come 2 be incorporating, if any? Okay, this is a baited question, but we're just going to see how they respond. So, the person from Warhorse responds and says, the story and plot of KCD, the first game, has evolved. It's darker, deeper, and more cinematic, yet also crueler with pivotal decisions and plot twists that challenge the player's conscience. Nevertheless, it retains its humor and down-to-earth approach. As mentioned already, Henry's embarking on a journey from countryside and local quarrels to a relatively cosmopolitan city that is besieged and occupied by the invading king. Naturally, in a place like this, people can expect a wide range of ethnicities and different characters that Henry will meet on his journey. That's it. They leave it right there. I don't think there's anything else where he says anything about diversity, but he leaves off and says, "We are trying to depict a realistic, immersive, and believable medieval world that is being reconstructed to the best of our knowledge. And naturally, to achieve that, we not only have our own in-house historian, but we are very closely working together with universities, historians, museums, reenactors, and a group of experts from different ethnicities or religious beliefs that we are actively incorporating into development as external advisors." Now, remember, ethnicity does not mean instantly brown people. It could be different ethnicities of white Europeans, but this is not what these people want to see. So if you go to the Kotaku coverage of this, they then go on to talk about their own article from 2015 where they interviewed this guy. So Kotaku says, "Chief among the additions to Deliverance 2 will be more diversity." And then they quote the guy from Warhorse, okay? So it says, "Back during the lead up to the first game, Vavra insisted there wouldn't be any black people in it. Of course there wouldn't. It's 1500s Europe." But God, these people are so dumb. So this is a tweet from Vavra back in 2015. It says, "Would you please explain to me what's racist about telling the truth? There were no black people in medieval Bohemia, period." And then the article says, "Vavra's deployment of historical accuracy to defend the fictional RPG's lack of people of color and his frequent embrace of pro-Gamergate rhetoric make it hard to separate the first Deliverance from some sort of the online reactionaries who rallied around it. The studio seems to be taking a somewhat different approach this time around, though it didn't go much into detail." And the pro-Gamergate rhetoric they're talking about is this article from Kotaku from 2015 right here, okay? So they just talk about the game, the development, and then they go in on the man himself, okay? So the article says, "I was also curious about what makes Vavra tick. I'd only seen him from afar in figurative armor. I'd spotted him as a pugnacious user of Twitter who would mix tweets about game design with angry complaints about so-called social justice warriors and charges that, as he put it, last October." And what they're talking about is this tweet right here from 2014 saying, "The future of our business is at stake and progressive media are destroying it with their hateful narrative." Go figure. That's perfectly fine tweet. It makes perfect sense to me. And then, of course, he goes on to say, "He was one of those people I didn't think I had much in common with, angry last fall when he felt gamers were being attacked by the gaming press and participating in a cycle of outrage that I'd come to see exemplify Gamergate and its opponents, moving from controversy to controversy about discussions of race and gender in games." And so, basically, the article wants to lump him in with Gamergate. That's basically where they get to here. It says, "Maybe I didn't agree with every single thing feminist critic Anita Sarkeesian said about how women are depicted in video games. Plenty of it seemed reasonable and obvious, but I'd never been troubled by what I saw simply as a critique and would compete in a marketplace of ideas. Vavra, however, would liken her to book-burning Nazis. This is the ultimate goal of social justice warriors," he would write. "Destroy all that which is offensive." He came off as playing to Twitter fans as someone who vilified people he disliked. Yeah, so this is going to be really interesting to see, guys. They have had their crosshairs on this guy for 9 years. And there is no way that the game that he is making is going to please them because there's just not going to be the diversity that they're looking for in it. So I'm expecting this game to do very well. What I'm planning on doing, I'm going to go back and play the first game. I'm going to give it another try, see if I can make myself just sit down and focus and try to enjoy it. Because I know the minute they get to play their test copy of this game and there aren't brown people in it, oh my God, Kotaku's going to shit a kitten. They're going to freak out. And you know what? I want to support these guys. If these guys honestly just want to put out a historically accurate, entertaining, and engaging game, I'm here for it. But let me know what you guys think about all this down below, and I'll catch you later. Alright, and if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching the video. Thank you for being here. I do have 2 channels, Minimal Effort Podcast, as well as my gaming channel. I do have a Twitch and Kick for my gaming channel. We do live streams over there occasionally, maybe once a week. And then if you are in the market for a new PC, make sure to check out Meta PCs. Click the link I have down below. Use code TBO at checkout for a special discount. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.